Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In the last session, we looked at replica sets. Replica sets can be used when you want to maintain a count of pods and have self-healing when your pod dies. Replica sets are excellent at maintaining application availability. For example, you tell your replica sets that you need 3 pods and Kubernetes will ensure that 3 pods are created and always exist. At any point, if a pod gets deleted, replica set will automatically create a new pod. Now that is amazing. But now let's think like a real production engineer. Suppose your application currently runs on, let's say, version 1.0. Everything is healthy and your customers are happy. Now your developers have a new release. The main question is, how do you upgrade your application? Should we delete all the old pods? Absolutely not. Customers would immediately experience downtime. Should we manually replace pods one by one? Possible, but dangerous, and it is impossible at scale. Imagine Netflix, which runs thousands of pods and there are hundreds of releases per day. Manually updating these thousands of pods simply won't work. We need automation for this. We need to have controlled application releases, and that is exactly where deployments come in. Think of Kubernetes like a company, and pods are your employees in this company, and replica sets are the team leaders, whereas your deployments are the project managers. Your team leader ensures there are enough engineers who are working, and your project manager is responsible for planning releases, handling upgrades, and managing the rollbacks. That's exactly what your deployment does for you. It acts as your project manager. Now, this is how your deployment works, and this is very important to understand. Deployments does not manage the pods directly. Instead, deployments manage the replica sets, and replica sets in turn manage the pods. So never your deployments interact with your pods directly. They always create your replica sets, which in turn will create your pods. This design allows Kubernetes to perform safe upgrades and instant rollbacks. All right. Now it's time for us to get our hands dirty and do some hands-on. Let's create our first deployment. So here, let us first understand this YAML file. So the first thing that we have here is the kind. So here we are telling what type of resource we want to create. And in this case, we are telling that we want to create a deployment. Then we have our replicas. This is same as what we had defined in replica sets, and we use this to tell how many pods we want our deployment to create. Then we have our strategy. Now this is very important in your deployment. This is what we use to control the rollout or the upgrade behavior. In this case, we are telling that we want to follow the rolling update strategy for the upgrade. Now what that means is we want one pod to be updated at a time. Then we have maxSurge, and we have set it to 1. We use this to tell our deployment how many additional pods can be created during the deployment. In this case, one new pod will be created and then the old pod will be deleted. So basically create one additional pod and then delete the old pod. Then we have maxUnavailable, and we have set it to 0. We use this to ensure there is zero downtime. Basically, we are telling that there should be 0 unavailable pods at any time. So basically, there should not be any unavailability. There should always be a pod running, and this is used to ensure there is zero downtime with your application. And then we have your readiness probe. Now this is very critical, and we use this to make sure the application inside the pod is ready to serve the traffic. Let's say your application takes about 30 minutes to initialize and ready to serve the traffic. If you do not use this readiness probe, your user traffic might be sent to the pods even before the application is ready to serve the traffic. We can use this to prevent traffic from reaching unhealthy pods. All right. Let's go ahead and apply this deployment file. So here, this is the deployment file that we have. So you can see here we are creating a deployment. That's our metadata. We are telling that we want to create 3 replicas. These are deployment strategy. So we are using RollingUpdate, and I think we are missing maxSurge here. So this will be 1, and the maxUnavailable is 0, and then we have our selectors, the image, and everything. So just give me a second. I should be using 6.5.4. So let me save this and we will apply this. So kubectl apply deploy.yaml, and this should create a deployment for us. Now let's verify our deployment. So we will do a kubectl get deployment, and here you can see the payment service. 3 of 3 is ready, 3 is up to date, and 3 are available. Now let's check the replica set. So like I said, your deployments manages your replica set. So here you can see my payment service replica set is created, and this in turn will create the pods for us. So now if you look at the pods, so here you can see I have my pods running. So we created a deployment which in turn created the replica sets, and replica sets in turn created the pods for us. So your deployments will never directly create your pods. All right, so here we can see that there are 3 pods created. So to explain this once again, we created a deployment which in turn created a replica set, and this in turn created the pods for us. Now let's talk about self-healing. We already know that ReplicaSet supports self-healing, where if a pod gets deleted for any reason, ReplicaSets will automatically create a new pod to maintain the desired number. Deployments also does the same thing since it manages the replica sets. So let's go ahead and delete a pod. So here let me open up one more terminal. So here I have 2 terminals. So let's say we will delete one of the pod. So let me do a kubectl get pod, and we will watch this. And here let's say we will delete this. So kubectl delete pod and the name of the pod, and here you can see my pod is terminating, and it immediately created a new pod for us. So that's basically your self-healing. So you can notice what is happening in this other terminal, right? So one of the pod disappeared and another pod created automatically. So your replica set is immediately restoring your desired state. This is the magic of your replica set, and this is self-healing. Now let's do something more interesting. Let's say you want to release a new version. So basically we are going to talk about your rolling updates. So here if you look at the deployment YAML file, if you look at the image, so we have 6.5.4, right? Now let's say you want to deploy a new version, maybe 6.6.0. All right, so let me edit our deployment. So kubectl get deployment, and we'll say kubectl edit deployment, and let's say this is the deployment name, and we will go ahead and update our image version. So let's say I want this to be 6.6.0. So basically I'm updating my version, and the moment I save this, immediately you will see that my pods are being created, right? So you can watch carefully over here. So let's say here, so you can see container creating, running, and then it terminated a pod for me. Then again it created new container, it terminated the old pod, and again it created a new container and terminated the old pod. So basically it will create a new pod first and then delete the old pod, and this is what we call it as your rolling updates. Kubernetes will never delete all the pods simultaneously. Now why is that? Because your customers are still using your application, and if all the pods are deleted simultaneously, there will be application downtime and the users will be impacted. The application traffic must continue flowing, and this process is called your rolling update. This is how companies deploy application and softwares without any downtime. But what happened behind the scenes? Now, before we did the upgrade, our deployment had created a replica set V1, which in turn created 3 pods. Now, after the upgrade, your deployment created another replica set, which is V2, which in turn created 3 more pods for us. So basically, your deployment is creating a new replica set altogether. So here, if you look at your replica sets, so kubectl get rs. So here you can see there are 2 replica sets. So this is the older one and this is the newer one. So when every time we are doing a rolling update or when we are updating our deployment, your Kubernetes will always create a new replica set, and it will scale down your old replica set. So this is one of the most important concept in Kubernetes. All right, deployments will never update your pods. Deployments will always create new replica sets when we are updating them. Alright, so in this case, the same thing happened. It created a new replica sets with the new image version, and it scaled down the older replica set. Alright, now let's imagine there is a disaster. Let's say the image tag version, whatever we updated 6.6.0 contains a bug and production starts failing. What do we do now? We do a rollback of the recent deployment. Now there are a couple of ways that we can do the rollback. One of the option we have is to use the rollout undo command. The other option you have is we can directly edit the deployment manifest file, and we can change the image version. And the other option you have is you do a rollout. You can use the command. So the command for that would be, so before we do the rollout, first we'll need to get the history of the rollout, and for that you can use this kubectl rollout history deployment, and the name of your deployment, which is payment service. And here you can see there are two versions. So this is the first replica set, and this is the second replica set. Now a good practice is to always have your change cause, which is basically have your annotations. In my case, I don't have annotations. This can be a big problem during the rollback, especially in your production environment. So always best practice is to have your annotations basically why you're doing the rollback or the rollout. So this is the latest one, and this is the older one. So it follows your at the top, at the bottom you'll have the latest version. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the reverse of the deployment. So we will do this kubectl rollout undo my deployment, and then the name of the deployment that we want to undo. And again, here you can see immediately my Kubernetes is creating new containers, and it is deleting the old containers for us, and it is done. And again, if you look at the history, you will see now we have 2 and 3. So it will always maintain, by default it will maintain 2 versions, right? So now if you verify your pods, so kubectl get pods, you will see that there are new pods created. So you can see the time as well, the age, which is 24 seconds, 25 and 27 seconds. That basically tells that new pods are created. You can also verify the image. So here, let's say I want to grep for image, and you can see it is running 6.5.4. So we are rolled back. All right. So as you can see, this is now pointing to the older image tag version, and just like that, the previous stable version returns within seconds. No manual intervention, no building servers, no panic. Now, a real world production example would be, imagine you have Amazon during Prime Day. So you'll have millions of customers, thousands of microservices, and hundreds of deployments daily. Every deployment follows the same pattern. You create a replica set which will launch your pods, verify the health, and then shift the traffic, remove the old pods, and you can roll back if needed. So companies like Netflix, Uber, Airbnb, Swiggy, Flipkart, and nearly every Kubernetes powered company uses this exact model. The scale changes, the concept remains identical. Now let's look at some of the common interview questions that you can expect from deployment. So the first question we have is, why do we use deployments instead of replica sets? So replica sets are mainly used when you want to maintain a pod count, but your deployments provide rolling updates, rollbacks, revision history, and your deployment strategies. And also deployments use replica sets in the backend. So basically your deployments wraps your replica sets. The next question we have is, what happens when you update a deployment image? So Kubernetes will create a new replica set, and the new replica set will create new pods, and the old replica set will gradually scale down. The next question we have is, what is rolling update? So your rolling update is a deployment strategy where your pods are replaced gradually instead of replacing all the pods at once. This mainly helps you with minimal downtime or zero downtime, where you'll have at least one pod running. The next question we have is, what is maxSurge? Now, maxSurge is basically the maximum number of pods that are allowed to be created during an update. For example, let's say if you say replicas as 3 and maxSurge as 1, that means Kubernetes can temporarily run 4 pods. So this is basically allowed during an update. So this will always create a new pod first and then delete the old pod. The next question we have is, what is max unavailable? So max unavailable is basically the maximum number of pods that can be unavailable during a deployment. So let's say if you say max unavailable as 0, that means you'll have at least one pod that should always be available. So this ensures there is a zero downtime. And that brings us to the end of the session. Today we learned that ReplicaSets solves the availability problem. Deployments solve the release management problem. So deployments essentially gives us rolling updates, rollbacks, deployment history, and zero downtime releases. And that's why deployments are one of the most important resources in Kubernetes. In the next session, we will solve another critical challenge. Our application is running, our pods are healthy, but users still cannot access them. And to solve that problem, we will learn Kubernetes services. If you found this session helpful, please give it a like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. If you have any feedback, please leave them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next session.